This is Sunny Phi Side Sports Take Live. I'm your host, Baruti Carl Alexander. We have an array of multi-sports conversation guests from all different spectrums. We're going to talk about, of course, the NBA draft that happened last night and the trades that happened. But we also going to get deep into conversation with things such as the LIV merger with the PGA. But we're going to get right into it. And I want to introduce my guest on Sunny Phi Side Sports Take. First, I want to introduce my brother, Alan Freeman. Alan, introduce yourself.
Good evening, world, Facebook, all the brothers on here, man. Listen, I'm a big fan of you guys. So, you know, if I sit back and watch and listen and laugh and enjoy, don't think I'm not here. I'm a big fan. I've been, as you guys know, been following y'all on the feed. I'm Al D. Freeman. I am primarily a stand-up comedian and producer. I have been. Just did a huge show in Galveston, the Juneteenth Comedy Festival, which was well attended, well packed. And I'm a baseball coach. I'm a high school baseball coach. I volunteer baseball coach at Sterling for 4 years with my son, with a 4-year letterman. We just finished up an incredible year. He was the second year being first team all district. This year he was MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. He's got a couple of opportunities to play college, Texas College, Southern University, in New Orleans, Morehouse, Texas State, HU, Houston Tulsa. And he's playing in the Astros Youth Scout League right now. So we're going to play the summer and see what happens. Most likely, it looks like, we might be ending up at Texas Southern University.
Well, that sounds powerful, and congratulations for your son and all that he's doing. Appreciate you joining us on the show on Sunny Phi Side Sports Take Live. This is our 8th episode. Phil Green, how you doing?
Wonderful, my brother. How are you today, Carl?
I'm all right, brother.
Good to see all you guys. Got a good relationship with each and every one of you from every aspect you can think of. Jeffrey from elementary school, me and Bert competed against each other, hot and heavy in junior high basketball. Me and you, Carl, junior high together. Al, at all your functions I done been to where we cut the fat. Me and good old DG, we went to Miller together, and all these relationships go back far as the 70s and 80s. So you guys are all good in my book.
Ooh, man, you say the 70s and 80s.
Yes, sir.
That's beautiful.
But you in the 80s, Al, but the rest of these guys in the 70s.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you, Brother Phil. Yes, we all go back and have those connections.
That's right.
Sunny Phi Side is like that. Brother Bertram, introduce yourself.
My name is Bertram Rodriguez. It's my first time on the show. Jeff been asking me to do this, and I'm happy to be here, to be able to participate with you guys tonight. And, I'm a JY alumni, class of 1980,
We're not going to hold that against you.
I know you won't. You can't do that, man.
There you go, that shirt.
All right. Let's stick to the show.
Johnny Robinson is listening in.
Yeah, baby. But anyway, DG and I and Phil go back, way back, and Jeff, just met you two gentlemen tonight, and I'm just happy to be here, man, and participate. And you're my 2 bits, whatever I feel like that might be. So thank you.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the show, Brother Darrly General. Tell us what's going on.
What's up, people? I'm Darrly General. I think of myself as the everyday man, the barbershop guy. I'm not an expert in any sport, but I love them all, and I'm willing to talk about what I do know. If you're looking for some Stephen A. Smith insight, you won't get it from me unless I heard it from him. But I want to know a little, like they said, a little bit about everything and not a lot about nothing. So always a pleasure to interact with you guys and chop it up. And let's have a good show.
Sounds powerful. Mr. President, take us into yesterday's NBA draft as you share who you are and what we are about in Sunny Phi Side Live in our sports conversation. Share from about yesterday.
Jeff Walker, president, Sunny Side Sports Take with Jeff Walker. Hey, I want to first of all congratulate the Denver Nuggets on an outstanding season. And as they swept Miami after game 2, they took care of business and swept Miami. So I want to give Denver, the Nuggets, hey, big, huge hands up. Outstanding job, Denver Nuggets. And that team is set up for a long time. That team is set up with Jokic and Porter and all those guys. Those guys are young. That team is set up for a long time. So it's going to be teams now trying to figure out how we're going to match up with them. So you're going to be seeing a lot of trades this offseason, this summer, where teams are going to be trying to figure out a way how to match up with Denver. So why should expect that to happen? But with that being said,
what do you think about the trades yesterday?
The trades yesterday, most of the trades yesterday really
Chris
involved
Paul,
okay, now that was the day before. Okay, we can talk about Chris Paul. Chris Paul went to the Warriors for Jordan Poole. Now, they also got draft picks that went to the Wizards. But that trade was about trying to get Jordan Poole's big contract off of their ledger. Jordan Poole signed a 4-year extension that was about to kick in, whereas Chris Paul only had 1 year left guaranteed on his contract. So this is Golden State understanding we're about to go into the next collective bargaining agreement next summer, and they had to reduce some payroll. So by making this trade, you take Jordan Poole's big salary off, and then Chris Paul, he comes off after the end of this season. He comes off, and then they can be able to go ahead and make moves and not be restricted. Because when you're over that salary cap threshold, over that luxury tax threshold, and you're a repeat offender, it makes you extremely limited in the decisions you can make as far as moves you can make to improve your team. So that's the reason why they made that move.
So
and then, of course, we had Bradley Beal. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Continue, Jeff.
And then, of course, you had Bradley Beal that was traded from the Wizards, and he went to Phoenix. So that's going to be interesting. Now you have Bradley Beal to go along with Devin Booker to go along with Kevin Durant and Andre Ayton. That's a heck of a four right there. So that team is going
to. So, excuse me, Alan, what you think about the trade yesterday or the draft yesterday?
No, I was saying on the last that the Suns look good, with all that scoring, but they still have no quality defense. And so, a lot of you score a lot, but you can't stop people from scoring. It becomes a horse race. And I think that was their nemesis this year, is no defense. I like the trade only because I like Chris Paul. And I like him going to the Wizards with a slight possibility of a chance to maybe win.
Yeah, but they traded him.
They traded him already.
Warriors.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying going to the Warriors.
Yeah, okay.
Is a slight chance for him to win. He's playing with a good organization. He's with Clay, he's with with Stephen, he's with Draymond. Yeah, this might prove to be the thing that
I think they may trade Draymond.
He opted out. He opted out.
What y'all think?
He's trying to test free.
He opted out, but he can always resign. He opted out.
Yeah.
Now he does have an opportunity to go to some other team.
Right, they're trying to keep him, but he's looking for the big money right now.
Yeah.
He's looking for the extension.
If I was the GM and they got a new GM in Dunleavy, I might let him go. Now I don't know who was the issue in that fight between him and Jordan Poole, but if he's contentious in the locker room after all these years, I would, make a move on that. Nobody's mentioned about Marcus Smart.
I don't like that trade, man. I personally don't like it.
For the Zinger?
I've seen Zinger close up play, and man, he's not physical enough. He don't bring it. He's slow. The cover on defense, so he's a liability there, whether they know it.
Who are you talking about, Bert?
Porzingis.
Porzingis.
Yeah,
right.
That's who they got. That's who Washington sent to Boston.
Okay.
Right.
He's not going to bring that intensity you know, that defensive intensity, like Marcus Smart is what, defensive player of the year, you know. So I personally, I just think you're just trying to load some people up there in Boston. You know, they haven't won with him, and they're just trying to, you know, shake things up a little bit. But you know, you talk about these teams. Jeff mentioned just a second ago, you know, about how Golden State got Paul, and you know, they got rid of Jordan Poole. But a whole lot of that stuff, Dylan and Jordan Poole had a lot to do with the chemistry with the Warriors now. You know, it never was the same after the fight. Steve Kerr came out and said that publicly, you know. So those two just couldn't coexist anymore. If Draymond stays, they just couldn't coexist no more, in my opinion. You know, they just, you know, you talking about all in gas. That's what that was, you know. So, but
and you break the spirit of the young cat.
Right, exactly. He never was the same. He didn't have the season this year he had the previous season because of that.
No, he needed for, you know, Steve Kerr or somebody to step up and discipline Draymond. But that was not going to happen. In order for him to play, in order for his heart to be in the game, I think he lost heart.
Yeah, his spirit was broken. His spirit was broken there.
Yeah,
you know, the spirit was definitely broken. You know, I see. You know, as we look at the history of the NBA, there's been a lot of trades that's worked out. Some didn't work out, and a lot of these trades I've seen here just within the last couple of weeks, I don't like any of them, to be honest with you. You know, I love CP3, man. Personally, I love CP3.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see him win a ring. As I told Jeff today, we was texting one another. We just got to see how it play out, because CP3 may need to get rested during the season, because that long, grueling 82 game season, he you know, at 38 years old, it started wear and tear on him. You know, if you maybe give him some rest during the season, save him for the playoffs, because he's gonna be, you know, they're gonna be fighting for playoffs, you know, spot with Golden State. He's in it. They got the squad to do it. But what I'm saying is, that 82 game stretch for him, he just breaks down. It seemed like at the end of the season during playoff. He did it with the Rockets. He just did it with Phoenix. I think he did it with OKC. So I don't know, man. We'll just wait and see kind of situation.
Yeah, that West is gonna be tough too. I mean, Utah is good and young, and
Utah got some good reps.
Good and young, and Phoenix is good. Young. Houston is good and young. So those Lakers and those West Coast teams, they better save their energy or do like Jordan used to do late in his career. Wait till the fourth quarter to really start balling.
Turn it on. Yeah, turn it on. But it's gonna
be. What do y'all think about the trade? Excuse me, not the trades, the draft. The Rockets got Amen Thompson, and what's the other guy named Jeff? Cam Whitmore.
We got Cam Whitmore
from UConn, right, Jeff?
Villanova.
Villanova. Sorry, Villanova. Man, personally, I like the 20th pick. You know, I thought it, and the difference, like I was being Jeff, like I was talking earlier. I'm gonna give somebody else the stage, but real quickly, I believe Cam, in my opinion, is the more prototype for the NBA than the guy they drafted number 4. He doesn't have an outside shot, but there's a lot of NBA players that don't have outside shots. But this guy, you watched him, Cam, I'm talking about, he's an all-around ball player, man. They say he don't pass well, but hey, man, he passes good enough to make it in.
But the issue with the Rockets is that they already have players just like that. This guy, Amen Thompson, is 6'4", 6'5". Cam Whitmore is 6'7", 6'8". They already got players like that. So something got to give. They got to make a couple of trades or something. Darryl, what you think about what the Rockets need to do, given what they had?
I've been saying for the last 2 years that you can close your eyes, throw a rock, and whichever guard you hit is the same as the other. Knicks, Christopher, Jayshawn Tate, all of them, they're all the same player. When you sub one out, you're putting the same guy in, just has a different name, came from a different school. I like both of the picks. I like Cam. Cam was projected to go early in the top 10, and at least a month or so ago, he was actually being considered to go in the 4th pick just on GP by the Rockets instead of the twin. So for them to get him begs the question, why did he fall so far? Especially when you read that the Rockets were trying to trade up because they didn't think that he would make it all the way down to 20, but they couldn't find anybody to trade with them, and he still ended up in their lap. He has spoken publicly and said that there's nothing wrong with him medically. Like Bert said, he is ready. He is NBA ready, but so is the twin. They're both NBA ready. I think what we need a rim protector. We need some veteran leadership, hopefully at point. I like Kevin Porter, but if we can get a veteran point there to work with these guys, and then we've got the new coach. Nothing against Silas, but I like the new coach better. I think the future looks bright, and if we have to package up, take Christopher, Nix, Ty, and all the rest of them, then they can go. I do like the fact that Whitmire and the twin are a lot like Tari Eason. They got high energy, so they're going to bring that to the game. So I'm really looking forward to this season. And Bert, I got you. I know you're about to say it, so I'll just cut you off when you can go to the game. I'll give you a call.
All right, let me chime in here. All right, let me chime in here. Cam Whitmore was projected to go anywhere between 4 and 7. And like Darrly General said, Houston was definitely looking at him. They bought him in for a workout, and they bought in Amen Thompson in, but he was projected to go anywhere from 4 to 7. Then sometime during the early part of this week, medical reports came out on him. The medical report was that he had some knee cartilage issues. And they're not saying he can't play now, but they thinking that it could curtail him on the back end of his career. So as opposed to maybe having a 12 or 13-year career, he may be looking at a guy that may only have a 7-year career. But you know what? If that is the case, I'll take it. I'll take 7 years of Cam Whitmore as opposed to 10 or 12 years of some scrub who will sit at the end of the bench. So I'll take it. I'll take it. That guy gets buckets. He knows how to play. He makes shots. He has great physical skills. He has that bounce. He has that wiggle. He knows how to get to the basket. That guy is a winner. I think that he's going to be huge for the Rockets. Him and Amen Thompson, outstanding draft. Now what the Rockets need, when I look at the Rockets now, the Rockets need big men. They need a big man behind Shagun. They need a good big man behind Jabari Smith, because they got the guards now. They got the guards. They got wings. They need big men. All they have at the 4-5 spot right now is Shagun and Jabari Smith. So you need to add a couple of big men, and they are set to wait.
They need some height around the basket, because I've seen them play, real close up, and they get beat on the boards this past year.
Exactly.
And they get beat on the boards, man. And they do. They do need someone to battle underneath the boards, because they get beat up underneath the basket, man. They get out rebound.
Some of the free agents. Go ahead, Carl.
Let me interject this.
Okay.
This is, first of all, they got so many wingmen, as I established earlier. Somebody got to go. You got to make a package or a trade. This is what I think that they should do. They should sign Brook Lopez for a backup to Shagun, bring in a backup point guard like Ty Jerome behind Ty Jerome, or God forbid, Patrick Beverly behind Kevin Porter Jr., sign an impact free agent like Cam Johnson, or trade for Paul George. They're talking about it. I trade Kenyon Martin, LaShawn Tate, and Amen Thompson to get Paul George. That's what I would do.
I throw it out there. I'm not crazy about that trade. I'm not crazy about trading my 20-year-old stud I just drafted. No, I'm not trading. Okay,
not for injury prone Paul George right now.
Right.
You got a guy like Paul. He's just, how many games he played last year with the Clippers?
That's the chance you're taking. Yes, I agree.
You don't want to take that chance with your future, personally.
Well, see, in my opinion, Tari Eason as a backup is a very good player, and then I still got other players that in a pinch, but his locker room leadership, he's been around, he's been through things. he can talk to these young players. I'm looking at people like Brook Lopez, Paul George, and you bring in somebody else as a backup point guard. You got to build chemistry.
Yeah, I do like Brook Lopez. I do like Brook Lopez. I like that one personally.
I agree. I like Brook Lopez too. As a matter of fact, I have it written down right here.
He gives some inside presence.
Written down right here.
Yeah, he
I'm
gives
gonna tell
some
you the guys.
inside.
I'm gonna tell you the moves I would make. I would try to sign Brook Lopez, and I'm gonna have to overpay for him because in order for you to get him from the Bucks, you're gonna have to make it worth his while. So you're gonna have to overpay for him. I'll get him, and then I will also try to see if I can get Jeremy Grant. If we can get Lopez and Jeremy Grant, we're ready. Because now you got the guards, you got the wings, and you got solid big men at the 4-5 spot. You don't have a weakness. The only weakness you would have would be your guards are young and can they figure it out? But they got the talent. That team will be talented. That team will be talented.
You say you're bringing in Pat Beverly, right?
No, I didn't say Pat Beverly. I don't know who said Pat Beverly.
I said Pat Beverly as a backup, but you know, if I'm doing that, I got to know more about the kind of friction that goes on around the NBA. And if I was in the inside, I would know a little bit more about that. What I'm trying to do is establish chemistry. That's the most important thing. If Patrick Beverly can help that chemistry, bring him. If he can't, let me get somebody else who's a backup veteran, somebody like Reggie Jackson. We need a backup veteran to come in here who's been around a while to try to work with those young guys and say, hey, man, this is why I've lasted so long. Because, you know, when their contract is up, if they've messed up, they can be moved. They can be out the league just like that. They got to remember that.
What about Dennis Schroeder?
Situation like what happened to Paul George, where he got hurt in that particular way. In their case, they might not be able to overcome that as far as their career and lengthening their career. They need some locker room people. That is key, I think, to a championship.
Somebody said Dennis Schroeder, right? Dennis Schroeder?
Yes. He mentioned a veteran point guard that won't cost much. I asked him, what about Dennis Schroeder?
What about James Harden?
What about who?
James Harden.
James who?
James Harden.
James Harden.
The coach said he don't want James Harden. Huh?
Let me address that. First of all, is James Harden willing to take somewhat a back seat to the youngster Jalen Green and Kevin Porter, Jabari Smith? I think it would cause friction. I think it would cause chemistry problems. And from that aspect, unless I'm gonna get rid of them and start putting the ball in James Harden's hands and let him shoot 30 times, I would not do that. That was then. This is now. He chose to leave. I'm not going backwards in that context.
Okay, according to the Rockets head coach, the Rockets have no interest in James Harden. They said that time is come and gone. They have no interest in James Harden. It's going to cost too much, and they're not going to invest 90% of their salary cap space on James Harden. So you can get that up. You can get that up. But I'm going to tell you who I've been hearing.
Jeff, let him speak.
Who?
I'm sorry.
Jeff, go ahead.
It's not enough basketballs for James Harden and these younger guys on the Rockets team. It's just not enough basketballs.
Okay.
Okay, let me tell you who I hear that they after. I hear they after Brook Lopez. I hear they after Fred VanVleet, the point guard from Toronto. Okay. And I hear that they are after Dillon Brooks. Now, I understood them being after Dillon Brooks, but you just got Cam Whitmore. You got Tara Eason. You have LaShawn Tate. You have Kenyon Martin. I don't see a need for Dillon Brooks now. I don't see a need for Dillon Brooks, but I can understand Brook Lopez and I can understand Fred VanVleet. I think they're going to move Porter from the point guard over to the 2 guard behind Jalen Green. I think that's what they have plans for. I don't think they see Kevin Porter Jr. as a point guard anymore. So I think they're going after Fred VanVleet that start him at point guard. And then you have the rookie, Amon Thompson playing behind VanVleet. And then you have Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. at the 2 guard. Go ahead.
The reason you go
Go ahead,
is
Darryl.
the reason you go for a Dylan Brooks, and I don't like Dylan Brooks, but the reason that you get a Dylan Brooks
It's
when you
standard.
get somebody like them is the mentality. You need a bulldog out there. You got a bunch
There
of
you
guys
go.
that are out there playing soft. You need somebody, you need an enforcer, and that's what this guy is. If the coach, by what we've seen so far, can rein him in so that he's not a loose cannon, then Dylan Brooks is a great player. Now, let me step back for a minute again. What you were saying about veteran leadership, a veteran point guard, a professional, depends on whether or not you want him on the floor or not. Because if you don't want him on the floor, we already had that in DJ Augustine, who's been around the league, has been here years. He's a consummate professional. He's been in the game. So he can provide that he can be that rudder. Now, if you need somebody on the floor, then that's when you go after the Van Fleet or somebody else. But you have a veteran point guard that can help these guys out already on your squad.
I think an
DJ
important
Augustine
point
came back.
I think an important point
Carl,
here.
he is a restricted free agent, but I don't think they're bringing him back. I don't think they have any plans of bringing him back.
Okay.
I think an important part here is that we're talking about these players, but I think the most valuable asset to the Rockets is going to be their new head coach.
Yes, sir.
I agree with that.
Taking control of this team, and he has proven that he can coach a team like he coached Boston, to a championship. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when he get down with all these Houston women and these strip clubs, whether that might distract his ass or not. But I think that he's going to be the most important card to this young Rocket team. And if he can do what he did in Boston, I see the Rockets at that 8th seed, maybe the 7th.
All those things are possibilities. I would say whatever trades they make and how they work those new players in is, of course, the key. I think Shagun will be here. I think Jabari Smith will be here. I'm not sure about, they may make some changes with Jalen Green or Kevin Porter. Don't know. It's according to if they want who they feel is a bona fide league all-star, somebody like the guy at Brooklyn who just came from Phoenix. What's his name, Jeff?
You talking about Cam Johnson, or are you talking about Bridges? You talking about
Bridges.
Cam Johnson? Which one? Cam Johnson. You talking about Cam Johnson? You talking about Cam Johnson?
Well, not him, the other
Bridges.
one.
Bridges.
Well, I mentioned Bridges.
Yeah. Look, so it's according. It's all about how they are willing to navigate, and that's going to show with the new coach as well as Raphael Stone. So we'll see. Are there any other things? How do you think these new changes, new trades are going to affect the actual teams? How is it going to affect Phoenix getting rid of Chris Paul? How is it going to affect the Warriors? How are they going to move up, or is it going to move them down? And what other trades do we think are going to happen? What about Zion Williamson?
First mistake that Phoenix made was recycling a coach. Okay. He's not the guy that's going to lead them where they need to go. Okay. Back to the Rockets real quick. Let me retract. They already have an enforcer. Cam Whitmore will be that guy. That's why they drafted him. Okay. Second of all, here's a guy that we haven't talked nothing about that they signed. Y'all might not even knew about. Willie Cauley-Stein. He ain't no punk.
Yeah.
Willie Cauley-Stein was a lottery pick.
Kentucky.
In the 2015 draft.
Kentucky guy, right?
He's gonna make the team. You can mark him in there. He's gonna be there to make sure. He's a free agent.
Yeah, we signed him last year, but
Willie Cauley-Stein is gonna play, and he's gonna make a difference. Okay, check it out. Anyway,
he's been with 4 teams. I mean,
that's right. You have to stop somewhere. That's true, but you have to stop somewhere. This is a new coach, new city, new players. You don't know it. It's just like
he's been with the Rockets a while too,
but he never suited up with the Rockets till now. Never. Not Willie Cauley-Stein.
Okay, quick question, Phil. Is Cauley-Stein signed for this season? Because I looked at their salary cap. He's not on it.
Free agent. Until you make the team, you're not on the team, but you still signed as a free. He will go to camp. And I'm saying right
Okay.
now, right here.
All right.
He's gonna make the team. He's gonna be
Okay.
somewhat of a little enforcer because
Okay.
trust me, they don't have anybody like that. Cam Whitmore is. You got pretty boys on the team. They flying around, dunking, slapping five, embarrassing other teams.
That's
You
true.
need somebody to go protect them, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Willie Cauley-Stein can do that, and so can Cam Whitmore. Because Cam
He's
Whitmore
from
can do
Kentucky,
some of
right?
that too.
He's
That's
from
just my
Kentucky,
opinion.
right?
Okay.
Right,
I'm just
Phil?
gonna
What I
go
know,
on record.
and you can Cauley-Stein up right now, and you'll see that he signed with the Rockets, just so you know.
I'm
I'm
But that
just
was
looking at
gonna
it.
go
last
on
year.
record,
I don't think
Phil.
they bringing him back, Phil. That was last year they signed him. They
It
signed
was
him
just a
last
few
year.
weeks ago, Darryl. I
They
mean,
re-signed him. They
Jeff,
re-signed him. They re-signed him.
check it
Maybe
out.
so, but I still put him on almost the same level as Boban, but
Well,
that's just
Boban
me.
is a guy that everybody wants him on the team because he's a good guy. Nobody plays Boban. Boban is a
Exactly.
good ambassador for your team.
Exactly. He's like an advocate.
Yeah, and Boban making plenty of money. There's a lot of famous players don't make many commercials as Boban making.
Right.
I understand
dribbling it.
commercials are
He
good,
dribbling
but
it.
we're talking about winning
I understand,
championships,
but we're
though.
talking about the actuality of what his purpose is. I didn't say nothing about him playing. I'm talking about two players here. I said Willie Cauley-Stein and Cam Whitmore. And I'm gonna tell you this right now: the rookie gonna start. Thompson, they didn't draft him to sit him on the bench.
If they
His quickness, his
get Fred
speed.
Van Fleet, okay, Phil. If they sign
But let me ask you a
Fred
question,
Van Fleet,
Jeffrey. Have they signed Van Fleet?
they trying to sign him.
Have they signed him?
Free agency don't start until June 30th, my brother.
Okay, but they already
They ain't signed
drafted Cam. They already drafted Thompson though. He
But
gonna
they
make
have
the team,
but
and he
they
gonna
have
play.
plans to sign Fred Van Fleet. If they sign him, Thompson coming off the bench.
Okay,
Leave
let's
it-
say
leave
this.
it-
Okay,
Wait
we're not
until
gonna-
they sign him, and then I'll buy that. I'm
right.
not buying that right now because Van Fleet
Okay.
got way more options than to come to Houston. The Lakers looking at him too. If the Lakers and the Rockets are bidding on Van Fleet, he going to the Lakers.
Lakers don't have the cap space to get him.
They can
Rockets
make
have
it,
the
bro.
cap space.
They can pay
Rockets
luxury
got-
tax just like
The Lakers don't have the cap space.
Jeff. They can get whoever they want. If you're a free agent and you want to pay the luxury cap, what do you think New York luxury cap is?
Okay, hold on. You're not understanding. You have to trade for him. If they can come away, they can't sign him as a free agent because they don't have the cap space.
Okay, but
if you can
and
trade
listen to
for
me.
him,
Listen to me. They still can make that happen if they want to. They got
They have to
somebody
do
on
by
that team
trade.
they can move. It's never a no for the Lakers. You don't. The commissioner would have to veto some of their trades to keep them from getting what they want, and he's done it before.
my brother,
Maybe
my
not this
brother.
one, but it's precedent for it.
All right.
Are there
Okay.
any other free agents or trades that you think are going to impact the NBA to kind of change the dynamic?
Okay,
Well,
this is
where's
what I wanna ask.
Zion Williams gonna go?
That's what I
Say-
was just gonna ask.
Say that.
Where is Zion Williams going to end up?
What Wojnarowski said yesterday is he has heard no chatter that New Orleans is trying to trade him.
They would have done it yesterday.
True. Yeah.
Well,
So
They
right
go
now,
all on the
they
line.
have
He's not leaving New Orleans. He's not
No.
leaving New Orleans.
Okay,
Well,
the next question. What about
and
Jaylen Brown? What about Jaylen Brown? Would y'all have any interest in us trading for Jaylen Brown? Boston's Jaylen Brown.
I'll give up a team for Jaylen Brown. That's the guy right there, man. That's a real
You
I
said
boss.
you do
mean,
what?
but I don't think Boston is trying to trade him either, Jeff.
They talking about
Well-
it. There's some talk. It's just talk.
There was some talk, just talk. I'm gonna tell you the reason why that's talk, Paul. Because he made all NBA, he's now up to sign a contract extension, 5 years, $295 million. So Boston has to make a decision. Are they willing to pay this guy $295 million over the next 5 seasons, which is about $58 million a season? They got to make a determination. If they're not willing to pay him that kind of money, then that's why they would make a trade to get somebody in now. So they won't lose him as a free agent next season, because next season, not after next summer, he's a free agent. So they got to make a decision. Go ahead.
Understood. There's a lot of possibilities. It's still early yet in the NBA trade and draft repercussions era. So we still have to pay attention to see what's going on. We do know there's a lot of teams out there jockeying, and it appears, it would seem obvious that the Rockets are going to try to do something. I believe that they are going to try to trade for a veteran impact small forward, and we'll see. And that goes back to Paul George, or what's his name, Miles Bridges, or something of that nature. One thing I want to bring in now, the WNBA is out there, they're pushing, they have a lot of name players, but they're still not making anywhere near the men. Should they? Or is it totally market related? Alan.
Well, no. Go ahead.
Alan?
No, absolutely not. Come on. The only way they should make as much money as the men is they play nude.
Say that again, is the only way is what?
You don't want to
If
hear
they
that,
play
Paul.
nude, they play naked, then I go to the game. Ain't nobody going to those games. How they gonna make the money? They don't generate the income. And have you ever watched the NBA game?
WNBA, yes.
You know what? I think Texas Department of Corrections, instead of putting people on probation, they ought to just sit them in front of the goddamn WNBA game and let them watch that.
I can tell you a comic.
Hey, I recently watched a couple of games though. They got this woman that played for the Dallas Queens. She got some James Harden step backs. His name is Arike Omwali. I can't pronounce her name, but she's very exciting. Then you got some name players: Candace Parker, Ella Deladon, Brianna Stewart. Yes, Alan.
Alan, calm down.
You know what? You know how we used to play, and we used to have shirts and skins. The women ought to play topless and bottom, so that would be boobs and coochies. That's
Okay. We're gonna mute his phone. We're gonna mute him. You've been booted off. Bye, Alan. Bye, Alan.
No, Jeff.
I know. I'm joking with him.
Okay, all right. Hey, but given the factor of what happened to Brittany Grenier, a lot of people talk about that. And I just like you kind of say, well, you can't tell a man what to do with his money. If he chooses to donate it to help their salaries, okay. But you can't try to bully or anything else to force a man to help pay for the girls, and it's a product of the market. So I agree. And anybody else got any comments on that?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I've seen, and I've seen a lot of it on social media since I'm retired. And you got a lot of feminists on social media. They got these podcasts and they talk about it a lot. And I watch some of the podcasts, and they are upset because they feel like you got NBA players of average salary is like more than the salaries for the entire WNBA team, and they feel like that the women should be making more money. So we says, okay, so you got the men says, okay, quick question. Do you go to the WNBA games? Well, no. Have you ever been to a WNBA game? Well, no. Do you watch it on TV? No. Have you ever bought a WNBA jersey? No. Okay, so let me get this right. You're a woman, you're on here and you're complaining that they don't make enough money, but yet you don't even value the product. You don't take any time out to show the product any appreciation. But you're going to come on and blame the men because they don't make enough money, where the men are the ones that fund the league. They don't understand it. I done told them that y'all way over the top on this one. But they have to find a way how to improve the product on the court. And I still say one way to do that is to lower the rim. Even if you just lower it to 9 feet 4 inches, you'll see more dunks. You'll see more alley-oop dunks. You'll see more plays over the rim. It would be a better brand of basketball because you'll be seeing alley-oop dunks, all kinds of exciting plays, and I think that would improve the product, which would make more people watch the game, which would mean they would make more money.
They can make that go at 4 feet tall. Ain't nobody gonna watch the game unless they play naked. Ain't nobody watching the game.
I like Charles Barkley. He's not Charles Barkley.
With the way some of the women look, have you play naked? They ain't gonna watch the game.
Man, you wrong.
But Alan, are you familiar with the 6'8" lady named Eliza Cambridge.
The only
Cambridge,
woman I know,
Cambridge.
only woman I
What's
know
her
that's-
name?
Cambridge.
Man, look, they
Cameron.
got good players playing in the WNBA. That's not to me the quality of the. I watched a lot of games. They can play, and some of them can beat us one-on-one easy. And I know it.
Well-
Don't lie. At this stage, especially, they can
only-
play. They just
only
not gonna get
Phil,
paid.
they should be able to beat us one-on-one. We 60 years old and over.
If you were young, you couldn't beat them. They are good. I'm just being honest. They can play. That's not the
Okay.
product. That's not the problem.
league-
The product is not the problem. It's,
Okay, what's the problem?
It ain't the product on the court.
Okay, what's the problem then, Phil?
Well, I mean, you
The-
gonna get
the-
what you get. Look, you just gave the direct answer. The NBA does sponsor them, but they only gonna give them so much. They looking for the money for themselves. They lucky to have a league at all. They've come a long way, bro.
Yeah.
From playing at High Fines Pavilion, all these leagues that came and died. They had to go overseas. They don't really have to go overseas. That is a viable product. You know what the problem is? They need time. In time, they will get what's coming to them. It's a new league. WNBA been around 20 years, 25. That ain't nothing. The NBA been around almost 80 years. It
But
takes
Phil,
time to develop a product.
but Phil, the WNBA has not grown much in the last 10 years.
Yes, it has,
think
Jeffrey.
about
Yes,
the
it
exciting
has.
level. where
It's
they
a
were in
long
the
way
late
from where
90s.
it started, bro. They didn't even have a TV contract that was past one ESPN. Now they got several. You know how many channels they own now? They own several. And some of those girls make 250 grand. That's not nothing to sneeze at. The top players do make a little money. They got some endorsements going that they didn't have. When the Commerce was raining and Cynthia Cooper and all those guys were doing something, they were making
Mhm.
under 100 grand, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
But
the problem really is that they're always going to be compared to the NBA.
And that's a waste of time.
And
That's
you-
true.
Do that.
Compare.
I agree with that.
That's not a
So
fair
they're-
comparison. They should
Right.
stay in their lane, keep what they're doing. They are on the right trajectory. They're gonna be okay. But I get what you're saying about all those people on social media, man. That's one reason I don't fool with it. The reality is they women. And they can say what they want to say, but they can't beat men playing basketball. Serena Williams can't beat the worst men tennis player. He can beat her.
Right.
It
Some
really,
of them, they will beat some men, but I'm just saying when you get the pros, they talking about one man or one team, it's gonna stay that way for a while. They have to earn it. They have to do things to make their league viable more. You're right. Some of the things you suggested might work, but I know they can
Hey,
product on the floor because those girls can play.
Here's
Okay,
an
I'm gonna
idea.
tell you another reason. I'm gonna tell you another reason why I think they're having some issues. And I could be wrong, and you guys let me know if I'm wrong. I used to go see some WNBA games when the Comets were viable. Then toward the last 2 or 3 years, I was not going. And then a friend of mine told me, actually 2 of my friends told me that they would take their daughters there. And they
Mhm.
say after each basket that they make, you will see women kissing each other.
Yeah, I
He
heard
said,
that too.
and I got my daughters here.
Right,
And you
that
got
is a
women
problem.
kissing and tonguing each other. And
Yeah.
he said it was so inappropriate.
But I don't
So
believe
then
they
you
doing that
wonder
no
why
more,
people don't
Jeff.
want to come support your product. Well, look what they got. Look at the environment.
But
Who
that was
wants to
their
be around
venue.
that environment?
That was
Well,
new. That was new.
Jeff,
Nobody
let me-
knew
let me-
about that. That
but
was
he-
new to
Let
them.
me interject for a second. When I was a big Comet fan, you know, I love Tina.
I sold a lot of their
Cynthia
products. I
Cooper.
know.
Yeah, I liked it, Cynthia Cooper. She was a baller for a woman. She was, in my opinion,
And Swoops too.
in her era, she was better than Swoops. Swoops had the height.
I
but
agree.
Because she came out of college. But Cynthia Cooper was the real deal.
I
Trust
agree.
me. But let me
But
say this.
Swoops was 180, and if she was
Okay.
180,
Yeah,
Swoops
yeah,
was
she
190.
was. She was.
I agree with both of y'all.
She didn't have the shot that Cooper had. Swoops didn't really have a real good jumper. It was.
And she
it
didn't
was-
have
it
the
was-
wiggle. She didn't have the
Yeah,
wiggle.
she didn't
Probably
have.
none of
She
that.
didn't have a
But
skill
Swoops-
set.
Swoops
Yeah,
still
she
gave the
didn't-
WNBA the image and the name initially.
Yeah, she did feel. I mean, she came out of college,
Carried
all American. She was a Olympian and all this.
That's
But
what
let
I'm
me say-
saying. So I'm just saying,
It's just about
Phil,
opinion.
that's because the WNBA didn't know how good Cynthia Cooper was.
no,
Trust me.
Right,
they didn't.
exactly.
But let's just say this: a lot of players get hyped, and then
Yeah.
they but
And don't live up to
Swoops
the
never
expectation.
faded away.
Right.
They needed each other to be pushing each other. To be
Right.
honest,
Yeah,
Okay.
let me say this, and then
But I still think Cooper was better. I agree with him on that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is Swoops gave them the names. Cooper did not.
Yeah,
Cooper
but she was a
once he
hometown.
got there.
Plus, she was a home state girl. You know, she was Texas
Sure.
Tech.
And she was good.
But let me say this real quickly. You know, and I know we got a lot of opinions. The WNBA now versus the WNBA when these girls played. I'm talking about these ladies played. The talent level wasn't as good then as it is now. You're getting a lot of exposure to women college basketball that makes the WNBA even better now. Because if you pay attention to the women basketball, look at LSU won the national championship this year. Look at the hype that girl getting from LSU. And let me finish saying this. Just finish real quick. You look at, like I said, Swoops and Cooper in those days, and like Phil hit the nail on the head. They didn't have financially when that league was founded. The money wasn't there like they needed. Plus the attendance and a lot of other teams like the New York Liberty, they struggled financially. You know, they had Lobo. You know, but now let me move fast forward to 2022, 2023. WNBA has come a hell of a long way. The talent level is 10 times better than what it used to be on just about every team in the league now. I watched the WNBA game last Sunday when God, the team was down by 28 points. They came back. Huh?
Who she play for?
I'm not the two teams that was playing. The team, one of the teams was down by 28 points. And I'll think of it in a second. Don't forget this phone. But anyway, we can't compare the NBA versus the WNBA. And the money, here's where I'm at on the money situation. The talent level for the WNBA and the NBA, women can't expect to make the type of money, that the men make. That, like Phil said too, they can't go out there and beat an NBA team. You know, so they need to. I agree. They do need to make more money, but they're not ready for that type of money because their skill level is not of a WNBA player. They just don't have that physicality. They don't have the skill set as a man. You can't compare a woman to a man playing basketball. That's just my opinion because certain things women can't do that men can do. They can't jump as high. Like you said, lower the rim so they can dunk. They can't dunk on a 10-foot basket. On a basket right now, only a few of them have dunked in the WNBA. Brittany Griner was one. Lisa Leslie was one. They only had a handful of women that have been able to dunk in the NBA. So that's my point. The skill level is just not there for the comparative salaries. The money, you can't expect to have
Parker's done a lot for the
compensation. You can't expect the compensation can't be.
We're not going to settle that and give them higher salaries this evening, but I believe it's just totally a market thing. And there's a different level of competition between men and women. And just based upon that, they shouldn't expect the same. There's a different level. When men are fighting, it's a different fight. It's a different
and that's what I'm saying.
Atmosphere.
I understand they're
Alan,
not
that's
making
what you
enough
was
money.
Saying, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're not making enough money, maybe, but they're not at the level of an elite NBA player to make, $10 million a year.
And what I was saying about Elizabeth Cambridge, she makes more doing modeling on OnlyFans than she did as an NBA player.
Yeah,
they may need to utilize their femininity, what women have always been able to use to get their highest amount of dollars. Now, that doesn't fit for all of the ladies in the NBA, but it can fit for some of them. And they need to utilize what they can because they're not going to automatically change the way money is transferred. Money is transferred upon wants and desire, and if that is not what people are wanting to go see, they're not going to pay for it. Alan, comment on that.
It all comes down to
Jeff. I just asked Alan.
Playing G-string and topless, they would shut down the NBA.
I don't exactly know about that.
No, it basically, it comes down to
from LSU. The young lady from LSU is going to be the first multi-million-dollar WNBA player.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually agree with that, for real.
And
She's making
but
paper
she's
like
not
that.
going to be able to turn it around by herself.
No, okay.
I
She's
think
once in a
they-
lifetime ball player for a woman.
I think they need to get that porno queen who hassling Zion to be a
Right.
part of the WNBA. Hey, and then they talk about the girls, the women kissing in the stand. Let them kiss topless. I swear to God, everybody will be at that game. Y'all don't want to make money. I see. I just
Hey,
take a whole
I mean, you may be talking some realities there. And those are things that they'll get some people to pay for. That is,
yeah.
but you can't force nobody to pay to go see what they don't want to see. So I understand what you're saying.
James
But-
Harden would go.
Well, you know they wouldn't put the games on TV now if they were still kissing in the stands.
Yeah.
Yes, they didn't have a TV contract back then. They
They
didn't
put
have
it on
nothing.
cable.
Yeah, they did. They have a TV count there. Yeah, they did.
I guarantee you,
I saw
you didn't
Cooper
see
on
not
TV
one
all the
game.
time.
Okay.
I saw two
They don't have a
men.
TV contract. They got,
Johnson.
okay. You said back when they were doing that. Have you heard that come up lately? I
Heard
haven't.
what? Heard what come up
About what's going on in the stands, what you said. That was
Oh,
when
no, I
the
haven't heard
Thomas
that
was
lately.
raining. That's
No,
my
I haven't
point.
heard that lately. No, I
Everything
haven't
is
heard that lately.
transition. All that stuff changed. I'm
Yeah,
for the league. I hope
I
they're
haven't heard
successful.
about that.
I like watching them because I like seeing a good basketball player. I go watch a good Pop Warner basketball team. I used to go watch Bert when he coached Little League. Basketball. It's still the same.
Yeah.
principle. You either stop somebody from scoring or you scoring more than they are.
Quick
One of the
question.
two.
But here's
Quick question.
here's the issue, Phil. You get into basketball is basketball, but then you get into supply and demand. And that's the reason that the WNBA does not make the money that they think they should make. There's not a demand for that. Basketball
I
is
haven't
basketball.
disagreed with that at all.
But
I'm
but
just saying,
if they're not making the money, it's because the league is not making the money.
Exactly,
If the league
but they're
itself
getting
was
there.
making money, then the players could make money.
they're on the right
Exactly.
trajectory, though. They're
Right.
going that way.
No, you're absolutely correct. But you can see by my screen, this is what I know about the WNBA. I got Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo, and Cheryl Swoops. After that era was over, I didn't know anything. Of course, I see Candace Parker and Skylar, what's her name, Diggs or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen them and I heard of them, but that's not a big supply. That's not a big demand for the WNBA. They do have it, but they're not going to make that money. Just like the college game, the 64 tournament is not going to compare to the men's. Just like high school girls basketball is not going to compare to the boys. There's a different level of talent. There's a different level of demand. So there's a different level of supply.
Duly noted. And you notice that what happened when they had the ladies Final Four and the men's Final Four, and they looked at the weight rooms. Yeah, it's a big difference. It's on the college level too.
Right.
You know, the men's Final Four brings zillions of dollars. The women Final Four brings okay money.
Right.
So yeah, that's the nature of the beast. I mean, it's gonna change over time where it's gonna get better. But the more they make, the more the men make. I mean, that's in my lifetime. When I'm dead and gone, I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm looking at what I see right now, right in front of me, because the WNBA is entertainment like anything else, but they want to be paid for their services. I get it.
They have to understand this is one area where they will not achieve equality. Not in this one. They
No,
forget it.
not ever. I mean, when it comes to entertainment, what do you want to see? A woman stripped in all her clothes or a woman stripped naked? Which one gonna make the most money?
Man,
But
what
there's
we
a
gonna
place
do
for
with this,
that, Al. You know,
You
no
talking
problem.
reality.
There's a place for that.
Yeah. All
It ain't a
right,
big
guys.
But
demand.
it ain't gonna be on the WNBA.
That's a place for pickleball. But
Yeah, and believe it or not, that is one of the more popular sports you got going right now.
Right, that's true.
And it's coming fast, bro. They got a TV contract.
I want to talk about the merger of the PGA and the LIV. First of all, does everybody, maybe everybody in the audience doesn't know what the LIV was. The LIV was the Saudi Arabian Golf Association, who started trying to take over a lot of the PGA American golfers from the tournament, offering them big sums of money. And so they got contested in court back and forth, but then it was settled by a merger. And some golfers are upset that they did not get a chance to chime in and get that big money when it was offered. So
they should have took the money.
As well as, one more thing, as well as the Congress is upset with the PGA because they have a nonprofit, or they get tax status. And they are saying, okay, if you're doing this and making all this money, you don't need that tax status anymore. Comments, go ahead, Alex.
No, they don't need the money anymore because the Saudi Arabian government can buy the United States government. That's why the PGA sold out. They could not compete. It's about money. They were going to get wiped out. They will become obsolete. What did they offer Tiger Woods? 800? What was it? It was stupid. Yeah.
800 million.
Now,
Stupid
how
money.
can you compete with that? The PGA got pimped. They had to fold. They told them, you better take this damn money. Otherwise, we're gonna put, what do they call them things that they wear when they wear them hajis? We're gonna make all y'all golfers wear hajis. But I'm telling you, even that league right there, they're gonna have women golfers, right? And we're gonna be talking about this again. All I'm gonna say, if they play golf topless, bingo.
It go back to that. What do you say about it, Darryl? LIV and PGA merger.
Okay, the bigger issue was the general perception of the league in Saudi Arabia. It was thought of when the league was put together that Saudi Arabia was trying to improve the image of the country itself by having the sport there to cover up what most people consider the atrocities that are actually happening over there and how they treat the women and other people. So that was one of the reasons why Tiger turned down $800 million, because you don't just turn down almost $1 billion because you don't like a league that is playing the same sport that you're playing. There was a problem with the first CEO, who I think was Greg Norman, was the first CEO of that league. And the bigger issue wasn't so much that these players, once they decided to do a merge, that they didn't get a chance to get that money because they had the opportunity. They opened the door, but the PGA said, no, if you go over there, if you even play in a tournament, we're gonna find you, we're gonna suspend you. So they had the chance to take those options. The biggest thing was, if you were gonna stand on principle, then you were supposed to stand on principle. But like Al said, money talks, BS walks. And what happened was they got pressured, and the only way they say, if you can't beat them, join them. So that's where we are. There's still a lot of stuff in litigation behind this. So the final chapter is not written on this yet, but that's the etymology of what's been happening over the last year since this started.
I bet Tiger gonna take this money now when he's offered it. But is Tiger's career over with? Even if it's close, he's still gonna take this money before he goes out. Any other comments on this merger?
I'm not big on golf, but
All right,
I do know this is a big social
but
issue.
it is big news.
But let me get that in. It's a social issue. All of us on here got social issues as to what we believe is right or wrong. Forget the money, because still golf comes down to two things. You can drive for show, but you got to putt for dough if you want to win and have a name in golf. That much, I've been on the links now. I've caddied, but I don't care for them. But as far as what Darryl specified about the social issue part of it is, that's a personal issue. That's a personal belief. Some of them guys didn't think twice. They took their money so fast the ink wasn't dry on the paper. Right. And they went over there and they played and they could care less. Phil Mickelson, he got gambling problems. You think he didn't need that money? He took it.
Well, they talk about social issues and the way they treat women. How the United States treat black people right now?
No.
Donald Trump was our president. How can we talk about?
But that's a country. Let me ask you a question now. Here's what I mean by that. Are you gonna go live in Saudi Arabia? or you gonna live in the United States if you had a choice? I'm not going over there. Nothing over there for me. You know, they do a lot of things we don't do here. We do things here they don't do. But I understand what you're saying I mean the big spectrum of social issues. They kill politicians, bro. They do a lot of stuff. Now, whether we all know the same things or understand the same things about it, like I said, golf is golf, just like basketball is basketball. You either like it or you don't. But the other aspects that brought all this forefront about it was governments are involved here, you know, politics, and that's always a problem. You know that. That's all I mean. I didn't mean nothing about, we're not gonna talk about America's social issues. We will never get off of here about that because we all faced it.
I like to chime in real quick before you end the golf topic. You know, all you guys are right, basically. But here's the deal. Think of, and I'm 62 years old, and I'm always going back to old school things. For years, Black golfers were discriminated against here in America. You know, Lee Elder, those type of guys. You know, we couldn't even go to the country clubs. You know,
unless you work there or a cat.
Right, unless you work there.
You shine shoes.
Golf has discriminated against the African American men and minorities for the up until now still, until Tiger really broke through and started winning. And it got us interested in golf. It got me at least interested in it. I rarely would watch golf until Tiger broke through this phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? So golf to me, man, is a dirty game behind the scene. You know, the Saudi Arabia stuff, that's all money over there. That's rich oil country over there. Of course, people gonna run for the money. That's what we do as Americans here. Some of us anyway. You know, but I don't think it was a good thing to jump from America, even though I know golf is prejudiced. I don't agree with the golfers who did go to that league, but hey, to each his own. Golf here in America is America's sport. You know, you go create another league in another country. Now, if the competition would have been good,
lost you, Bert.
We lost you, Bert. Yeah.
Well, we are at the end of our show. We've talked about a lot, and when we go out or when it is our ending, which is now, I am going to allow everybody to give their closing statement on the draft, closing statement on the possible trades. And is Victor, what's his last name, Jeff?
Wembanyama.
Okay. Is Victor Wembanyama gonna be an all-star, or is he gonna maybe end up like Ralph Sampson, who had a first good 3 years, but then after that he got hurt and he's not in the Hall of Fame, and that can happen. So let me know what you believe is going to happen with this new phenom, and then give your closing statement. Bertram, you want to go first?
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can't see you. Okay, now we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Man, I enjoy, first of all, I want, again, man, this is exciting. Joe, I apologize for not coming sooner, man. But this has been fun. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed you guys. You all guys are pretty knowledgeable about all this stuff, man. And that's, man, y'all deep. I'm just gonna tell you like that. Y'all deep, brother. Y'all some deep brothers, man. I'm just, I'm just happy I got an invite, man. I appreciate it, man. And I'm looking forward to the next segment, and being here, And thank you, man. That's all I got to say, man. Thank you.
We thank you. We thank you very much. Look forward to next time. Phil.
Yes,
first of all, guys, as always, you guys are definitely fun to associate with, conversate with, and kick topics around with. The NBA draft is the NBA draft. I'm not gonna venture out too far and say that Victor Wembanyama is going to take the league by storm. I mean, he's a young 19-year-old kid, still not a man in my opinion. He's a good basketball player, outstanding skill set. But when he has to get in there and grind with some men, that's why they want you to have a little age. You just can't jump out of high school no more. That's a mismatch a lot of ways. He got a lot to learn. I can tell you that I saw one of the games where Scoot Henderson played him just going to the rack, laying up. He come out on him, he shoot a three. I mean, he gonna learn the other guys are ready to play. But overall, I hope the NBA has another great successful season with all the players came in. I was surprised some guys didn't even get drafted. So always look out for undrafted guys to come in and be surprises too. And all the coaching changes, hey, that affects the league as well as all that free agency. But anyway, all the topics we discussed tonight are stuff that enlightens us to be better understanding of what we like, and that's sports. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll look forward to seeing you next time when we have our next show. Darryl.
As the other guy said, man, it's always a pleasure to chop it up with you guys. I'm very excited to see what we're gonna do with the new coach, with the new players, who's gonna be here when the season starts, who's gonna make it, past the trade deadline. So I'm excited about the Rockets season and the NBA in general, just to see what's gonna happen. As far as the number one pick, I've said it once, I've said it a million times. You don't know. You never know. This guy, like Phil said, he's 7 whatever, $120, soaking wet. He's gonna come in, have to bang with these guys. He could put the weight on and end up being what they say he is, or he can end up being just an average player, or he could end up being a bust. Injuries that I'm by no means are wishing. It's just a fact of life. Things happen. I wish him all the best. I hope he scores 50 or 90 something when he's playing the Rockets. He can do his thing. But I'm really excited, and I'm waiting on the season start, and I can't wait till our next show so we can chop it all up together again.
Thank you, board member. We appreciate it. Alan, tell us what you feel and give another shout out to your son.
Okay, first of all, hey man, this is amazing being on with you guys. As was mentioned, you guys are very knowledgeable, and it's good to talk with guys who understand the game. We didn't get a chance to talk about the 2 Houston Cougars who got drafted. I want to shout out to those guys.
Right on, brother, right on.
Who made the league, and I expect both of them to do well. We didn't talk about the Houston Texans, who I'm really excited about. It appears that our new quarterback is the real deal from all the words that's been out there, particularly from the coaches and even other players. We didn't talk about that. And yeah, guys, and we related to my son. My son is a part of the Houston. I want to give it up to Paula Harris. Of guys who don't know who Paula Harris is, Paula Harris is the only female executive in Major League Baseball. She's from Sunnyside, and runs the Little League program in Sunnyside, South Central Little League, and she's connected the Houston Astros to that league and connected the Houston Astros to African American baseball. The league my son plays in, there are over 250 high school players. 90% of them are African American. This is a real shot at them at playing major college baseball over the summer for some who didn't get a chance to get recruited. And also, they're gonna have an all-star team that plays in Minute Maid Park, that plays at Texas Ranger Stadium, the Washington Nationals, that will be scouted by the pros. So we got an African-American lady who is gonna be responsible for some African-American kids ending up in the league. And we never talked about how many African-American players are in the league. It's minute right now. So the next time, yeah, I hope we get a chance to do that. And my son is doing really well, man. And not just because he's my boy, he's an exceptional ball player. I have to give credit to Bo Porter for really training him over
former Astros manager.
But real quick, guys, Bertram and myself helped start South Central Little League. We started out at Yellowstone Park. We were there the very first year that league was formed. We were sponsors, coaches for the first 5 years to get Cravon Rogers, all those guys that were involved.
Yeah.
Tony, I cannot think of Tony's last name.
Tony,
We put a lot of, and I didn't have any kids in the league at the time. I coached Little League out in Missouri City for a number of years and came back to South Central on my own volition to help. And we helped get the Negro League team's name involved. First years, we didn't have that. So I know what you're talking about. And I knew all the support. We used to have to go out and get all the city councilmen, all the state senators would come out to the games. And we petitioned Roger Clemens for those scoreboards.
So the
Out there in that field right near that Rocky Man at Sunnyside and at Yellowstone. We were there the first year. Sunnyside allowed us to play there, but for the first few years, we only played at Yellowstone. Just so to piggyback on what you were saying, that's a good thing. Yeah, Tony Flournoy, he was the guy to help. He was the president.
The South Central League, he got that chapter going.
Everything works together to make things work.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that, Alan. Thank you.
Yeah,
and keep posting those messages so we'll know what's going on. And we welcome you back another time to give us more information. So thank you very much.
I'll let you guys know about my stand-up shows. I'm gonna have some great stand-up shows, producing some great shows, Cafe 4212. And guess what, guys? I do what we call a WCW, which is a Women Crush Weekend, which is an all-female lineup of stand-up comedians, and they're extremely funny and they're topless. Just wanted to let y'all know that.
Well, sure enough, let us know that. Al, don't keep it to yourself. We need to be notified when that's happening.
I know that's right. I know that's right. He's jiving.
I know no, I've been to 4212 and seen him before. He knows I know that. Seen that though.
Yeah, Mr. President, finish us out. Give us your full comments.
All right. Well, hey, I enjoyed the draft, man. The NBA draft. I enjoyed carrying it, and as far as covering it and posting on the sports page, I really enjoyed it. I thought Houston won the draft. Well, actually, I thought San Antonio won the draft because they had the first pick and they got the best player, a generational player. But I thought the Rockets did an outstanding job, given they only had the 4th and 20th picks. And they came away with 2 high-octane players. I like what Detroit Pistons, I like what they did. I like the fact that it was amazing to see twins go back-to-back in the draft, 4th and 5th picks. You would probably never see that again. 2 twins going back-to-back in the draft, 4th and 5th picks. That's amazing. So outstanding draft. I really enjoyed it. It was good to see 2 Houston Cougars drafted. One going to Boston and then another one going to the Pacers. So they're going to be going up against each other a lot in the Eastern Conference.
I just want to mention their names.
That's outstanding.
I want to mention their names real quick. I believe it's Jerice Walker and Marcus Sasser.
Marcus Sasser, that's correct.
Right.
And Marcus Sasser is actually going to end up in Detroit after the play. So he's going to be playing for Monty Williams in Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on. He going to Detroit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Well, this is, I believe, our 8th episode of Sunny Phi Side Live with Jeff Walker. We are improving every day, every show, hopefully, and we're going to continue to grow, to add different things to the site, to the show, new innovations, new guests, new subject matters dealing with sports. We're going to get into discussions. We're going to have ladies on here to give their standpoints. And we
are going to be topless, right?
Our sports legends part of the show. Alan, you said?
You don't want to hear
I said the ladies that come over here are going to be topless, right?
I told you they want to hear it.
We'll talk about that another time.
He's definitely a comedian.
But we enjoy everybody. We thank you for your representations, your words of sports. And what I am going to do is I'm going to look on the Facebook site. I didn't get a chance to do it earlier, but I'm going to do it as we end. And I am going to send those comments and share them with you all. If you want to chime back in, we can. But usually they're going to be right there on Sunny Phi Side Live Facebook site, so you'll be able to see them also. And until next time, I'm Baruti Carl Alexander. Thank you very much. Everybody, have a good evening.
I'd like to thank everyone.